I got an idea. I have one idea.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
everybody, we're here for the new episode of the RLG cast. It's probably like episode 21 or something. I'm here with the Puttyman. He's over there. Today, we're going to talk
I'm
about
over
some
here.
pop culture things, and we're going to talk about stuff and things, and we're going to get right into this. Putty, so I want to know, you're going to go to a Comic-Con.
Yes. A really a really shitty Comic Con, but still can be Comic
Hey, it doesn't
Con.
matter. Come on. You got to, if you don't support them when they're small, they'll never grow.
Yeah, good point.
Um, you wanted to do cosplay. You don't have to tell us what you're going to be.
Yeah, because I'm gonna leave that surprise.
Yeah,
But
we're going to keep it as a surprise. But like, do you have do you have any like vague ideas that you can share? Like maybe not specifically what you're going to be, but other things you thought about maybe being.
well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's funny. It's weird that you bring it up that because the thing is, I was wondering how cosplay is gonna go there because looking at it online, it looks like it's like there's like a separate thing for cosplay. So I'm hoping that I'm not going into a situation that's like, oh no, you have to go to this building for cosplay and pay an extra fee. And I'm like, really? Like that doesn't
No,
seem
I
right.
doubt it. I doubt whatever you're looking at is probably for like contests or like for you
I think
to
so.
like
Yeah,
relax with your costumes on or whatever. Because sometimes
that's
they
what I
have like
think it is.
areas where you can help build like rebuild like fix your stuff during the middle of the cons.
Yeah, because I don't honestly looking into it. We've all kind of did with JD as well, looked into what was coming, and there wasn't really too much to overwhelm. I think it's just because it's the first con, they're not going to have like, of course, the biggest things because
Yeah, they're
they're
going with a
looking
lot of
more like,
comic people. I did see it,
yeah.
but it
I
is a
mean, the
Comic
thing
Con.
exactly. Well, the thing is, I'm waiting to see how this is going to turn out because a lot of local places. I mean, I already told you, and I didn't tell everyone else or anything, of course, or at least in this video, they are doing things outside of the con, and I am going to one of those events that Friday, and we already talked about. They're going to have a Q&A with the screenplay writer for the original Charles movie. And for some people, that might be like, oh, that's not exciting. But if you love the movie, genuinely, I have one question I want to ask, which I'll go ahead and tell you right now. I want to actually ask him where the whole idea of combining both the cartoon and the comic book, because I mean, you got to think outside of Eastman and Large, there had to be something involved in that situation where they had to, like, I guess they were trying to make balance for common fans. So I feel like it's an interesting question to ask when I go, because it's going to be something I don't know if anybody else has even thought of that haven't really been absorbed in the comic book originally in that first place. But that's also why I'm excited because at least it's something new and different for me. Because for a lot of people who don't know, I am a big comic book fan, but this is actually my first con, and I've always watched it online, seen other people do it with conventions, never got to do it myself. And I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to finally do it now because it's our first con we actually had in our town. But I don't know how it's going to end up turning out. And I'm sure, if this goes good, they'll continue it. But it's just gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out and how I will play out with it. Because I figured you go hard or go broke, and that's pretty much what I'm doing with my cosplay is like playing off the tropes of what I've already been doing in my life when it comes to like healthy wise and everything. So why not try to play off that trope, which
Oh,
I'll
it
leave
makes
it there
sense.
as far as yeah.
He's
So
gonna be a streaming broccoli. It makes
there
total
you
sense.
go.
Um,
Broccoli man.
Hello, I am Broccoli Man. Where is Butter Girl?
I need a little peanut butter.
That would be, you know what? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so that's good. You're gonna go to a con. I've been to like a lot of cons, obviously.
Yeah,
I think you'll have a good time. I don't think you'll care who's there. I
right.
like we talked about this before. I genuinely could care less who's there. I almost never actually go to meet the people or get autographs. I think
Right.
like it's not I know people like to do it, so I'm not gonna like shun or like talk down to people, but I think getting an autograph is a waste of time for how much they cost. Like
Yeah.
it's usually lowers the value of most of the things you get the autograph on.
Yeah. Well,
It's more sentimental than anything, right?
well, here's the thing: the TMNT thing. It was only $12 for that,
Yeah,
which
but
is not bad.
that's different.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I'm actually
panels
gonna
are
get a free
different.
poster. I'm gonna get a free poster that he's gonna sign. So he's doing a signing before that. Then he's doing the Q&A after. But I think the reason I'm gonna go is because this is gonna be the first time I've seen this, or the second, the last time I saw TMNT in theaters was when I was a kid. Great use of the shirt too. I can't
I
believe
didn't
you
even
wore that shirt
realize I
today.
had a Ninja Turtle shirt on. I just noticed it right now.
um, but But that's my whole point, though. I think that's what I'm more excited about is actually the movie because I want to see who else is going to be there because it's going to be nice to meet people that have that common love for this movie. So it's going to be nice to be able to recite this movie with other people there and be like, "Oh, what's your favorite thing? Oh, don't you hate that they didn't add this from the comic book?" Like I'm hoping that dialogue will happen. I don't know.
Oh,
It's
I
going to be
will.
more open.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be a room
yeah,
full of nerds. It's gonna
yeah,
happen.
exactly. And then of course I'm going to be scoping out some other particular nerds in general, but I think it's just going to be a bunch of yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of sweaty guys. Anyway, my point's still there. um, but I think it's gonna be fun in general, just the atmosphere, hopefully. And again, they have good pizza at that place, so I'll get to grab me some slices, enjoy it while I'm watching Ninja Turtles. Why not eat pizza at the pizza and brewery while watching Turtles? Makes sense.
And
I'm just
with
saying.
he's gonna have pizzas and brews at the pizza brewery with the Ninja Turtles. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, I mean, you'll enjoy that for sure.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm not a big panel guy. I do prefer the panels over the autographs. I
right.
find it's like the autographs, especially when it's someone big, you're waiting in line for a really long time. The
Yeah.
panels is like, yeah, okay, you wait to get in a little bit, but once you're in there, you're sitting down, you're watching a thing. It is what it is. The one I used to really like was EGLX, which doesn't happen anymore, but it was Canada's version of E3.
Hmm.
And it was every year it was getting like massively bigger. Like year over year, it kept growing like double. And then a COVID hit and it ended, which
Hmm.
sucked. But that was the best one for panels. We would all the new games that were coming out, we'd go watch all the panels for it. I remember we saw The Watcher. What's it called? Watcher, the game where you like hack things.
Oh, wait. I know. I think I know what you're talking about. 'Cause no, it's actually called The Watcher. I think you are
Yeah,
right about
yeah.
that.
And it was the
Yeah.
newer one that came out, and we were watching footage of it like in beta stage, like before they even like so it was really cool. We were getting to see the things way before.
Was
Um
this something too they did when you're recording as well? So you were like getting to see it, but you couldn't
you
record it?
can't record in any of the panels usually.
I kind of figured, yeah.
Especially at the gaming stuff. At the Comic-Con, that's why I don't really care. Comic-Con is doesn't really have that many panels. Fan Expo has a lot of panels, right? Fan Expo is the third largest. It's I think New York Comic Con passed San Diego now, but it's like New York or San Diego, and then Toronto is the three biggest ones. Um, but their panels are like, oh, it's like Q&A panels, right?
Right.
So it's not even like you'll get to watch Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox and them. You'll just be in a room, and whichever ones show up on time for it will be in there. So you'll think that you're gonna get Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox, but you'll end up with just Biff and Leah Thompson. And it's,
With Leah Thompson on mine, but
I
still,
know, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, right? Like it's always like that. Like, oh, you're gonna get all four hobbits from Lord of the Rings, and then Elijah Wood was late, so you only get these three. And you're like, oh, that's great. But it's yeah, it's stuff like that, right?
Well, you
uh
even said well, you even said it before because you had said we not before, but like you actually said online in the chat and everything that you had there's a lot of stuff that you got that are exclusives. Now I don't know what's going to be there as far as that. I don't think there's going to be exclusive, but I'm
I
excited to
don't
see
think
what
there will.
stuff is.
Not yet.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see what's going to be there as far as like collectibles too. Like I'm hoping that's what like my fear is it's just going to be local shops and then maybe a couple of the comic book shops that are here, and it's like, well, I could have just
You'll
went to the
probably
shop.
get the thing that you might get lucky for is you'll get area stuff. So just general, not necessarily your city, but like North Carolina. So like people
Mm,
from like Charlotte and Raleigh and like maybe some South Carolina, like close. It's better
right.
to get that, right? I don't think you're just only going to get one place. I think
Yeah.
people are going to come because they want to make money. There's going to be
Yeah.
money
True.
there.
True.
I just don't know how um diverse it's going to be for you, right? Like it might
Yeah.
only be comics and like Funko Pops because that's like unfortunately like the sad truth of cons now. But you may get some cards, you may get some like books or like t-shirts, stuff like that.
Well, like that would be great to find some like those all those old Marvel cards. Like you were just talking about collector cards, those old Marvel cards you used to have that were from like Flair and all those. Like, no, 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 not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. No.
No,
Okay.
don't even look at them. So okay, I'll tell you a funny story, okay? Since this is gonna be the most random episode ever. um, so I bought DC. I'll show you one time. I
Okay.
bought DC a box of the original cards. I don't remember what they're called. I think they might have been called Legends. And then I bought a box of the second series called DC Cosmic Heroes, I think it's called, which was
Yeah.
like more about villains and more about like the deep lore characters. And in both boxes, I hit almost every single card that comes in the whole set. So I was like, oh, so happy. Marvel was selling their set that was like very similar to that. I don't remember what it was called. It has Spider-Man on the box. It's a gray box with Spider-Man, and it's their
There's so
first
many
ones.
sets I had. I can't remember what
Um,
because there's a lot of sets.
I'll look it up while I talk. But
Mhm.
anyways, so oh, I already forgot what I was talking about.
You were talking about the cards, you were talking about the DC ones, and
So,
then the
anyways,
Marvel.
I was gonna buy them. They're on eBay. They're like $100 or so. They're called Marvel Universe Series 1, 1990 Marvel Universe Series 1.
Okay.
They were like 90, $100, and I was like, okay, I could get these for cheaper because I got the DC cards for like one box was like 60 and the other box was like 49. So I'm like,
Okay.
I'll wait. And they kept getting cheaper. Okay, I was like, there, this is good. $70. I think it was 70 US. I was like, oh, I'll take it. I'll put it in my cart for now, whatever. I forgot about them. A week goes by. That guy had like 10 boxes. They all sold out. Couldn't find them anywhere. I go to Fan Expo that year and I see the box and I'm like, oh, I've been trying to get these. I'm like, how much? And the guy's like 1,500. And he's like,
They went up?
honestly, he's like, I don't expect that anyone's ever gonna buy them off me, but he's like, I'm also not gonna open them for how much they're worth right now. He's like, I'm just gonna let them sit until somebody eventually buys them. And I was like, all right, but I'm not paying you $1,500.
Well, then that means I need to pay attention because if there's people out there that are willing to throw away some stuff on there like that, I just don't want to keep it no more. I need to add that to the collection and grab it
The
while I'm
the
there,
kind
you
of
know?
stuff you're gonna get deals on, I think, is older, um, mid-tier quality in terms of value comic books. So like maybe some late 60s, a lot of 70s stuff, maybe Daredevil, early X-Men stuff, that are like graded probably like 9.29, 9.4 for like $60 ish. And I know that seems like, oh, but that's like worth it. That's the kind of stuff I
Yeah.
always end up finding. Like I got all the Daredevil, that main storyline run with Elektra where Elektra dies from Daredevil, and I got it all for like $40 per comic, and they're all like very fine, like quality.
Well, see, I've been thinking about stuff I'd be looking for. Like, I would love to find some of the old Mirage and Turtle comics if they have anything like that. I would love to find some image, especially if there's gonna be image writers there. Maybe I can find some good, I want to definitely find some Gen 13, maybe some Savage Dragon
You
issues.
will find Savage Dragon, you will find Gen 13, 100% guaranteed. I was gonna buy Savage Dragon #1. They had one. I think it was like $40. And I at the last minute I was like, you know what? I already bought enough today. I'll come back tomorrow. And I never ended up going back.
Well, here's the reason why I've been thinking about that lately too, is because there's such a there we are kind of oversaturated with the whole superhero thing. We talked about that in the last, I think, RLG cast and everything. And yes, there is a saturation, but I feel like I don't know why I have this feeling the image is going to get a spike. Like I feel like at some point something's going to happen in image, and I feel like Spawn's going to do that. I feel like what's going to happen is Tom McFarlane's going to release something Spawn related. It's going to be good, and that's going to bring up the whole image thing again. I mean, just in general, just a lot of it because people looking up. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I mean, I feel like there might be an opportunity for that, or we're just not going to, or it's just going to die with comics as far as like, how we're getting oversaturated with superheroes. Like, it's a weird, I feel like it's a gamble, but a gamble I'm willing to maybe take because I still enjoyed the series. So I want them in the collection, but I feel like I need to get a few. You know what I mean?
Who makes Ninja Turtles now?
So
Is it
IDW,
Image? Oh,
no,
IDW.
IDW. Yeah, IDW
So
makes that. Yeah.
if you're looking for slightly more modern turtle stuff, you'll get a lot of the IDW.
Mhm.
Um, IDW is doing really well right now because the turtle stuff is really selling. The Last Ronin line and the Reborn series, which are both
Last Ronin
worth
right up
reading.
there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have Last Ronin right up there.
I
Yeah.
definitely recommend starting to read the Reborn series. It's a very similar storyline to Last Ronin, but it's more street level and it's more animated than like because that one's kind of like samurai-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
this one's more like the cartoon, but like gritty. It's more like the movies, the
Okay.
Reborn
Okay. Okay.
series, right?
Okay.
It's like Manhattan's been turned into they dropped a bomb TGRI on it and it turned everyone into mutants.
No way,
And like the
really.
turtles aren't working together anymore. They don't talk. So like they're all like doing their own thing and they're like trying to get in there to help the mutants. There's like a lot of stuff like that. It's really good series. I just bought
Okay.
this at volume 2. Um anyways, they're doing really well. Dynamite has some good stuff. Image is always gonna sell because they have Spawn
Mhm.
and Spawn is huge.
Well, so
Um
that's why I feel like Spawn, because remember there was talks about the movie, and I don't know if they're still doing it or
still
not. Or
go
I don't
still
know what this
happening.
is. And that is why I feel like it might be inflection. Like maybe this is the time to get rid of some Spawn comic books. Like if I could find a graded issue of Spawn #1, I feel like now it's probably going to cost
Gonna
me
be
some money, but
expensive.
yeah, but I feel like it's going to be that time to get it right now, where it's probably at its lowest. Because once if a Spawn the movie comes out and it's actually good, it's going to like
Well,
push
I
that
mean,
price up that comic.
if you genuinely think it's worth the purchase, I would do it. Me
Mhm.
personally, I have I bought every cover for Spawn 300 when it came out, and he did like most of them to mimic the Spider-Man. I don't remember which one it was, Spider-Man 500 or 600.
Yeah, it's
Like
like the
when he
vet,
was
like the
working on Spider-Man, so he
yeah,
like mimicked all the covers from Spider-Man, but with Spawn on it. Um, so I bought all of those. I would target like if I'm going gradeds, I would go 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 for Spawn because for me personally, I wouldn't want to pay the money for Spawn #1. But if you
I get
genuinely
it.
feel like I'm gonna do this, just go for it because it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
gonna go up. It's never gonna
yeah. I
go
have
down, and
fun.
eventually he's gonna die. You know, knock on wood, and it's gonna be worth a lot of money.
That's the reason why even with Jim Lee, but yeah, Jim Lee. Sorry, yeah, but even with Jim Lee, that's the reason why I'm thinking some stuff like Gen 13, things of that nature, because maybe even like Gen 13 #1, if I could
You'll
find
get that. You'll get Gen 13
yeah,
#1, and it won't be that expensive.
I might grab that because I'm thinking if Spawn does fluctuate, I feel like Gen 13 because I was explaining to one of my coworkers the great thing about Gen 13 is it's really wild, it's very sexualized, but it also had a lot of the first, like for example, like a lesbian relationship and all that kind of stuff. Like it's been in other comic books, but like this one really like pushed the envelope when
Yeah,
it came
and
to it. You know
Jim
what I
Lee
mean?
art is always the best.
Yeah, and so I feel like if I do that and Spawn does good, that might hopefully give us an actual good Gen 13 either movie or cartoon or something in nature. And if that happens, that means that issue is going to go up. So I figured look for stuff like that that might have an opportunity.
Well, Jim Lee is very high up right now in DC, and apparently right now, I don't know if this is fact. I didn't really like dig deep, but I watch a lot of like stuff on YouTube, whatever, news, comic book stuff. DC is like doing really well in comic book sales, and they're like smashing Marvel right now. And DC was almost going bankrupt. They cut their line down to like a very minimal amount of actual physical copies that are released now in stores. But what they are releasing is doing so well, and Marvel is releasing so much now. They're doing what DC was doing, and they're getting like no one's buying any of the comics.
Well,
So,
this might sidetrack things, but I heard
but
at
Jim
one
Lee's in
point.
charge, so that might
Oh,
boost
I know,
also
yeah.
Jim Lee product, right?
Well, I remember they were doing DC fandom, and that's when they introduced that Jim Lee took over and everything. I remember the second DC fandom. I think that's when they introduced him or something like that. I can't remember which
Yeah,
one,
it
if it was
was
the first
last
or second
year's,
one.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And here was the thing. That was the other thing I wanted to know about because I heard rumors that because of their fall, kind of like with Marvel, that they were going to like rent out the characters to like movie companies and everything to get more money off it. That's what I heard rumors about. I'm not saying this is true. And it made it weird because I was like, well, if that's true, Disney could be like, oh, we're gonna put money into Superman, so we can put Superman in the Marvel world. And I'm like, that just doesn't feel right. Like, I get if they did I feel like a Marvel DC crossover would be very eventful, but I don't see that happening. So
I
was
mean,
there ever actually talks about that, like about them leasing out the characters?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I
Not
didn't know if that was true or
it
not.
wouldn't be they if they've learned anything from the mistakes of Marvel, it's giving your rights to your characters out. If it was, it would be none of the big seven. So you wouldn't get the Flash, you wouldn't get Green
Yeah.
Lantern or Wonder Woman or Superman or Batman. It would be like, oh, you can use Teen Titans or you can use Swamp Thing, you can use
Well,
Constantine, you can use
how
Green
big?
Arrow.
I mean, how big of a troll would it be to see Green Lantern and Deadpool? And then like, that'd be the biggest troll in the world. But
I don't, you know what? Because like, I genuinely don't know because the early days of Deadpool, he wasn't that goofy, and then like
mm,
I don't know where the lines got blurred because I didn't really read it, but like his modern stuff, he's like way over the top. Like it's
it
like
was
on another level.
it was the Cable issue. So what happened was if you remember the first issue of New Mutants, he was actually a mercenary to kill Cable. And so in that issue, he was serious. He made a few wisecracks here and there, but he never broke the fourth wall. It wasn't until there was a lot of the issues with Deadpool and Cable that started coming in that they started giving him more that and Death. Those were the two characters that were catalysts for his goofiness, because what happened was he started pushing that humble envelope of messing with Cable, and then it started talking to the audience, and it just kind of morphed into its own thing. So I don't remember the exact issue it changed. I don't remember, to be honest with you, because like it's like I've read so many Deadpool comics, but the problem is like, just like anyone, a lot of people do, I may not sit and do the same run out the one at the moment it comes out. So like I might do a run of something. Like I know the new one, Bloodline or New Bloodline. It's like there's two different type of Bloodline and Bloodline 2, or I can't remember the names of it. But I've got a couple of issues, but I haven't actually sat down and read them. And that's the problem, is I don't remember where it hit, because then we started getting like Ultimate Deadpool and all those. That's when they started getting really, really crazy with Madcap and all that. And those are the ones that people know nowadays, but that's not what we got originally. Originally, he was pretty serious. He wasn't doing breaking the fourth wall. He did have jokes, but the fourth wall breaking was not there. That came later.
In uh the original miniseries Circle Chase,
Yes.
he's not a there's no comedy in it at all.
No, no.
Which at that point that character was a direct rip off of Deathstroke, where then it
I'm not going
evolved
to deny
into it, but it evolved into its own character, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like there's a lot of people that are like that through comic books, but at that point, that's what he was. For Circle Chase, he was just a complete Deathstroke knockoff, and then eventually became his own, like
Entity,
personality,
okay,
like
yeah.
everything, right? Because Deathstroke's not cracking jokes.
No, exactly. He's actually the opposite.
But yeah, we got way off. But yeah, Image will sell. If you could find like a Savage Dragon #1 for like a good price. My like ones I really want. I want Gambit #1, from the miniseries. I have Sabretooth #1. Those all have like a similar cover. Sabretooth, Circle Chase, Gambit, and there's one other one. They all have like a really similar looking cover. But yeah.
Well, you were talking about the chases, the things I'm going to be looking for, because some of the comics I like. Like for example, I don't have any of the Omega and like Alpha and Omega, the X-Men Alpha Omega before they did Age of Apocalypse. I would love to find the gold version of those, because I remember I had the silver version of no, I had the silver and gold version of Alpha, but I only got the silver version of Omega, and then I think it was X-Men Prime came after that. I can't remember what the one was after Omega, but I had Alpha and Omega, and I wanted the gold version. I wouldn't mind going back and find the gold version of those. I would love to get Gambit Externals. That's where the whole Jubilee thing was. I wouldn't mind getting that.
See if you can get a sealed newsstand of X-Force #1.
Oh yeah,
they're pretty easy to find, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah, that's a good one actually to have too. Well, I mean, of course, if I could get New Mutants '98, but that ain't happening. That ain't happening. No.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
That ain't happening. No.
So yeah. Also look for Ninja Turtles. The
IDW.
The trade paperback.
Oh, the old ones? Okay.
Like not the old ones, but the trade paperback for Ghostbusters crossing over with Ninja Turtles. It's a fun read. It's probably going to be like $10.
Okay.
Well, you could buy it on Amazon anyways, I think. Okay, so if you could cross over two franchises, but like not like Marvel and DC, but like make it like more specific, kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Busters.
Well, I don't have one yet, so I'm gonna let you go. But I do want to bring up one that I think would be cool, is to have something like Spawn and Venom, just because they're both made by Todd McFarlane, and I feel like that would be a great story.
Like I don't have one, really? But I have a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have one, but I have a really good one on Putty. Spawn and Venom.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't know if that was a good one. That's what I'm saying.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I feel like imagine Spawn with Venom.
Oh, the Venom symbiote. Ooh, yeah, that would be one hell of a story. Because he already has the life of the cape in the first place. So why not have the whole suit be? Well, I mean, I don't know. See, now we're thinking about it, though, his suit is pretty much all alive anyway.
That's what I mean. But imagine it also had the symbiote, and then they fused together and became like a mega.
Well, that's
right. And then he had to fight Carnage. Goes with what's his name? Clown?
Clown. Yeah, yeah, Vindicator. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that would be pretty cool actually. That would be one hell of a fight. And Carnage looking like Violator. I said Vindicator. Well, there is a Vindicator,
Yeah, there's
but
Vindicator.
yeah, but no, Violator looking like Carnage. Like I can see Violator just the way it is, just simply like that. But then having that red, the black and red, like gooey look to it,
And
it
then
would be an enigma.
Vindicator procreates with a xenomorph, and it's like a Diablo character.
We've gone off the rails with that one. But I mean, what was your idea as far as like two crossing?
I didn't have one. I was just asking you.
I mean, I would love also maybe Gen 13 with Generation X or X-Men. That would be a great one to have in another world. I mean, there's been already stuff like we had Dark Claw with Batman. Like a lot of people don't know, and we talked about the amalgam such a great thing that happened in our past.
Oh,
I,
it was dog shit, but I mean, it was
Okay, it
cool.
was just exciting. It was not the greatest issues because I mean, come on, Robin falling in love with Jubilee was just not my
It
cup. It's
started
like not.
off insane. Like when the crossover comic happened, everyone was freaking out, and then we got the first wave of solo issues. Everyone was freaking out, and then the next wave of solo issues came out, and nobody cared anymore. And it kind of
It,
just
it,
like faded away.
it was one of those things that now I look back on it and I go, holy crap, that actually happened, and that probably will never happen again.
I think
Like
Stan
it's
Lee had too much power at that point, and like
you're probably right, yeah.
he screwed up a lot of the storylines because he wrote a lot of them himself. I'm pretty sure,
No, I mean it was
or
just a
like
weird,
wrote them.
yeah,
Um,
right.
but yeah, I mean, I would take it. You know what I would take? I want Swamp Thing and Man Thing
Like
crossover.
well, then let's just go Scarecrow and Scarecrow.
Yo, let's
I
go
mean,
Scarecrow and Scarecrow.
I mean, I hate to put it that way, but that's literally what Man. I mean, well, Man Thing came before Swamp Thing, right? Am I right? Wasn't yeah. So I mean, Swamp Thing is literally like like it feels like a copy of Man Thing, but that's happened so many times. Like, and again, another thing, I love those videos out there. People like, oh, who came first? You know, Quicksilver or Flash? Well, you know, we know
Oh,
the
I got
answer
a
to
good one
that.
for you.
Okay,
Stroke Pool.
okay, I'm down. The name
And
works
it's just
so
him
well.
being so upset that Deadpool won't leave him alone. Just go away.
I'm sorry, but that name already alone is just the best name because like everyone will be like, well, we should call it Death Pool. I go, no, Stroke Pool sounds so much cooler, and it
Yeah, it
sounds
does
just
sound
like
so
up
much
his alley.
cooler.
It sounds like a Deadpool title no matter what without Deathstroke in it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that should have already been a name. Um, but yeah, I mean, well, I want to think outside the box. Like you already did it with Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. Like, what about Ninja Turtles and oh god, like what do we have in these worlds that coexist? I mean, like I'll give you some.
Battletoads?
That's a perfect one. Yeah,
But
that
I don't they
Bucky.
actually cross over in something? I swear Battletoads
I
and
don't
Ninja
know,
Turtles cross over in
but
something.
like I mean, like Ninja Turtles and Bucky O'Hara would be a great one, or like Bucky
No,
O'Hara and
Bucky
Yosef
O'Hare and
Jimbo.
Star Fox.
Okay, now you got me on that one. That one's good. Oh, see, now we're just going down a rabbit hole. Good stuff. Oh, um, Ghostbusters and Luigi's Mansion.
I mean, sure. Luigi doesn't talk, but that would be unless Charlie
Oh,
Day is gonna do it.
yeah, right. Um, God, I can't think of anything else.
No,
I mean, there's
Donkey
a
Kong. Listen, Donkey Kong the animated series and
okay,
Sonic Boom.
okay, hold on. But see, okay, Donkey Kong Country, the anime series is not that good, but compared to Sonic Boom, it's like I feel like an Oscar-winning
But
show.
it's like if you've ever seen either of those, they're so similar in like the tone
It's
of the
true.
show and the way that they look. It's like in a jungle and they live there in like these little huts. I don't
Okay,
know.
all right, all
I
right.
mean, I feel like it's
But
pretty similar. They're animals.
let's see
They
here.
talk.
Okay, okay, so they made it into a movie. I was gonna say, what if we did Rampage and what's the name of that movie? The one
Rampage
that
and
has the
Rampage.
no Rampage, the movie with what's the name of that movie with the robots fighting the monsters?
Oh, Pacific Rim.
Yes, there you go. The Pacific Rim robot comes after the Rampage
Okay, so why not
monsters.
just Pacific Rim versus Godzilla or something?
Well, then Rampage
Rampage
versus
versus King Kong and
Godzilla.
Godzilla. There you go. It's a perfect matchup. Except they have a big wolf, and
Which
we don't have a big wolf.
well, it's just funny because Rampage is literally like a knockoff of all those characters, and then they made their own movie, and it's like, well, people probably went there and said, "This is a Godzilla ripoff." I'm like, well, no, it's based off a video game that actually rip off Godzilla and King Kong. So there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a weird. If you really think about it, kind of it goes full circle in that way. But gosh, I don't know. I see. I mean, there's a lot of things you can mix together that we've said before that would be great. And I know there for a long time, I used to like just jot down like crossovers because my dream crossover would be Smash. For since Sega has so much like collateral and Nintendo, why not give us a Smash Brothers that's like Sega versus Nintendo and let that just bleed in? You know what I mean? Because there's so many Sega characters that would make great Smash characters. I feel that you would have a fun thing just having like a versus toy box kind of situation. Like you could have the Cooley D, or what's the Cool D from the taxi, the crazy taxi game. I
Oh,
can't remember
Crazy
his name.
Taxi, yeah.
Yeah, and you can imagine his like X being like the cab comes in and starts like flying around or something like that. Like
So a Sega
uh,
version of what do we just call it? Smash Brothers?
Smash, yeah, but yeah, but actually have them versus because then Space Channel 9, what's her name, Ooh La La, she could come in, have the aliens come in and start going bam, 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 and you
Yeah,
have to
you
like get into the beat. Like there's so much you could do with that, and that was the only dream thing I could say that I wanted to cross over was to because I mean we did finally get Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. Why not go Smash? There's so many Sega properties they could do there. Monkey Ball could be a character in the game where he's trapped in the ball and like like there's so many characters that can have their own Smash in there. And I mean it's not going to
Sega could
happen,
do
but
their own Smash on literally on their own. They have enough
you're right.
characters.
But I mean, are they big enough now? They haven't had so much, as much
If
exposure as they
Warner
should.
Brothers, the universe, whatever it was called, what was that game
Oh,
called?
multiverses,
If
yeah.
Multiverses and Nickelodeon can do their own games and they were both pretty successful, I'm pretty sure Sega would do it and they would
You're
be
probably
okay.
right. Yeah. I mean, they did their own racing game and it turned out pretty well. They've been had multiple sequels, so why not? I just guess maybe they're too scared it's not going to be that good because speaking of multiverses still exist, but the game is down like now. But they said they're coming back next year, which apparently I'm going to have all my stuff that I unlocked and all that kind of stuff still there. But it's like you're basically making it where this game feels like it's just dead. Like I don't think it's going to come back, and that sucks because I put money into it. But it's like if you're trying to like come back and with an explosion, it's not going to happen when you have like a dead release and then dead air and then come back.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you had hype for a tiny little bit, it died off, you shut down the game, and you think you're gonna bring it back and people are gonna care. Nobody's gonna care.
That's what I'm scared of. Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, it was a good idea, but they should have stuck with it and like gave more options and not. There was too much pay windows and too much like oh you get to try this character you can buy it and I get it they're trying to make money off of it but it's like all you're offering is like dual battles and all that stuff. Your options were limited when Smash has so many fun ideas and collectibles and all that kind of stuff. Like collectibles are another major reason Smash can be fun for people that are like just casual players, you know what I mean, that just want to collect all the items. And this just went different, but I guess it's just more the crossover thing that we're just into. It's like they had so many opportunities because when you have stuff like Rick and Morty and Game of Thrones, you have licenses that are huge. They had freaking LeBron James in that game. How did you miss the fuck up that? Like really, honestly, you know what I mean? So
Well,
I don't know.
they went too much of a freemium route.
Yeah, I
It was
agree.
just they just wanted to milk money from people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. If you could take a video game franchise right now that doesn't already have any like real high or popular adaptations of it, what would you do?
You mean adaptations like movie, cartoon, that
Yeah,
kind of thing?
anything.
Oh man. Um, that's something I just had to think about. Like I would love to have a Fallout movie, but I feel no, actually no, I wouldn't want a Fallout movie. I feel like we need a Fallout series.
There is a Fallout series. You're being serious?
No, I had no idea.
There was a trailer like the other day.
I totally had no idea. Well, there you go.
It's on Amazon.
I'm gonna go look it up and everything. I had no idea that was happening. That must have been like I had no idea. Okay, well then there we go. I'm getting that. Okay. Well then shoot, I don't know because I mean even I mean wow. I mean, what would you do? Like, have you got any
I would
ideas
like
on?
I would like Chrono Trigger as an anime.
Okay,
I think that would be really cool. I would like Earthbound or Mother series as like a movie, an animated movie done like in the Pixar style or something like that.
that would work
Um,
good for that too.
I would like the Final Fantasy series maybe done as comics. I think there's a lot of lore there and it would be cool to see the art drawn because there's like a lot of really good art for that. Um, maybe even live action like Ninja Gaiden or something, one of
That would
those
really
games.
work. Well, Ninja Gaiden would look work really good. I also feel like a God of War movie's got to be in the works because why not? That I feel like God of War has a very epic thing, and it has that whole like Lord of the Rings feel to it.
I
I
think
mean, as
I
far as
think
like
you could do that as a TV series and it would
I could
work
agree with that.
because you
Yeah,
could draw it out really long and you could flesh it out a lot better.
and you have a lot of the gods you could work with in each season, like focusing towards those bigger goals. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of things that I feel like could be like it's funny trying to bring it in my head, but I guarantee you, if I went through and like thought of like certain things, I could think of stuff. But like let me try to think of a good example. Like see, I mean, like for example, I don't know. See, I'm looking here and I can't like for example, Cyberpunk is a decent game. I think it'd be better as a movie plot idea premise. But I feel like we kind of already got those with some movies if you really think about it.
I mean, it
So
does have an
maybe,
anime already and it's very good.
yeah. I mean, I would okay. So this is just being me fan warning. I would like them to make another He-Man movie. I feel like it's time. I feel like it's the only way we're going to be able to introduce this movie to other people, and let it be far fetched. That's what made He-Man so great was because it was so
I
crazy and out
like the
there.
stupid 80s movie.
Yeah, I do too, honestly. But I just hated that Orko was in it. Like you could have made that one character Orko because he had the ears and everything. Like I never understood that. Never
I
understood that.
think it
Like
was something
why?
to do with rights.
Really?
Yeah.
That just sounds stupid because like it's literally the He-Man and the Masters Universe movie. Like, what rights do you not have
No, it
over
wasn't called
Orko?
He-Man Masters of the Universe, just called
Oh, that's
Masters
true.
of
It's
the
just called Master
Universe.
Universe. That's true. That's true.
Because
Okay,
they
you
didn't
got
I
me on
don't
that
think
one.
they had the rights to call it He-Man.
But how does that make sense? And then you have He-Man in
I don't know because I think there was like workarounds for stuff.
it. Okay. Okay.
Courtney
Um.
Cox is really hot in that, but I digress.
Yeah. That's right after the Bruce Springsteen introduction of Courtney Cox, which a lot of people don't know. That's how she actually became famous by being pulled on stage from Bruce Springsteen. There you go, Courtney Cox. There you go. She became known for 1 second. She's like, I don't give a shit. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, I really couldn't think of anything because honestly, they've made they're anything that was decently popular has been made into a movie. I mean, or a movie or a TV show of that nature. Like a Castlevania movie would be another one I feel like would be great. Or Castlevania, like I know they made the animated series, but like something live action with Castlevania, I think would be cool.
I think maybe a movie or a show doesn't really matter where it's really like dark and intensely like horror based.
Mhm.
Like it's because like the anime is really really good and it plays kind of like Game of Thrones, but it's very like jokey, even in the dark parts. But like I feel like if you made like a legit like horror series or a horror movie where he has to do all these things and it's like legitimately like scary, I think that would work really good with Castlevania.
And well, the other thing too is you have a storyline with all these Belmonts that connect to Dracula, which means that you have all these other lores. You could bring Van Helsing into this storyline if you wanted to in that situation, and really broaden it. Like, I mean, I never really thought about it, but we never really got like a very good vampire saga that had stuff like Van Helsing and Dracula and all these other big name vampire type characters that are really in the public domain that could be used. And I mean, when they tried, I feel like they tried when it came to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but we've had that conversation before. Like when it comes to that movie, and like I, that's a prime example. We have so much like Universal did the whole thing with all those characters and that kind of stuff, and we have all these opportunities for other things that are in the public domain that maybe you can have some fun with. Like a prime example is like they did the Winnie the Pooh movie because now it's in the public domain when it came to Winnie the Pooh. And so as things like that start to trickle in, have fun with those and make some great ideas that could be fun. Like I don't know if the Winnie the Pooh horror movie is actually
Sucks.
fun. Okay, I kind of figured it looks bad. It just looks campy, fun, bad, and I was hoping that would be the situation, but it sounds like it wasn't, unfortunately.
Sucks.
Okay, so, but I mean, aren't there other ones they said were in the works? Like they're trying to do like a whole saga with all those like
Yeah.
cartoony Disney
Well,
type
because
characters?
Winnie the Pooh, I don't know about specifically, but like the rights are up now. But like other things like Pocahontas, Pinocchio, and shit,
Hmm.
that's already public domain. Peter Pan, nobody owns the rights to those. Robin
So you
Hood,
could make a. So has there been a Pinocchio horror movie?
probably.
Okay. Like, but I mean, you could have some fun with those. I mean, those really wouldn't work as well. But I'm thinking, like you said, Robin Hood, things like that. I mean, Robin Hood's already been in public domain, but I'm sure there's a lot of things you could think of, like isn't that going to be the same situation with Superman? Isn't that going to be doing the same thing, or are they doing this the whole Mickey Mouse bullshit where they're trying to like keep the
No,
copyright?
they can get it back.
Okay,
It's just the name. I can't know. I don't know what it is. The the
like the
name
symbol they
becomes
can keep, but not the name. Isn't that
yeah, it's
right?
something like that. So like they could make a
Yeah.
movie called like Superman something, but
So you
it
couldn't have
won't
the S,
be yeah, he wouldn't be able to look like Superman.
which doesn't make sense when you're just selling the name then basically.
You're not selling anything. You just kind it there, I don't know. There's league copyright laws are really messed up. You know this because you work on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Um
reason why it's so weird when you think about all that stuff. Like that's the reason why I don't even put anything related to like Robin Hood or anything like that anymore. Because I'm like, I'm just fucking, I'm scared of everything. You know what I mean? Like it's getting to that point, and it's because they're striking down. Because last time, I think even on the last RLG podcast, we talked about how Star Wars, like Lucas used to be like, hey, you could freely use it, make your own little skits, things of that nature. Go at it. You know what I mean? But then Disney got it. It's like, oh, we're getting restrictive now, and we knew that was going to happen. We should have been wary of it, but I don't know. Like I said, I mean, like here's a prime example. Going back to the Image Comics thing, because Jim Lee works for DC, does he still own his Image characters? Because that's originally why he left Marvel, is because he couldn't keep their own rights to the
that's
character.
what Image is, right? You go
Yeah.
to Image, you make comics for them. They make money off your comics, but you own the rights to your comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gateway for people to be creative. They can go there and get out their ideas. They can still work for DC and Marvel at the same time, but you write your own comic books for Image, the ones that you want to tell your story. You know what I mean? Maybe
So, but
it's
that's
too gritty or something, and those companies don't want to pick it up.
well. Here's my curiosity then. If you remember, what's her name? Evangeline, I think it was. Remember, she was used to be Image with Spawn. It's isn't that the name of her name? Evangeline. It was like an angel character that was in the Spawn
Okay, yeah.
comics, and it moved over to Marvel now. It's actually in the Marvel comics. It's like it's the only character that moved over there, and I don't remember why it moved over. I think
Well,
they bought the
Todd
rights.
McFarlane worked in Marvel, so maybe they wanted to use the character and he sold them the rights to the character.
So that's what I'm thinking. So that's why I'm curious about. Like, couldn't Jim Lee just bring over characters from like Gen 13 and all that
He
over
did.
to like DC?
He did already.
He did. I had
A
no
bunch
idea.
of his characters migrated to DC.
I had no idea about this.
I also believe Wildcats
That's Jim Lee. Yeah, that's Jim Lee.
is now. Oh, I don't want to be wrong on this. I think it's DC because um, what's his name? Grifter is now teaming with Red Hood.
Really, which is
Yeah,
actually a good combination with the guns and everything. It's
yeah.
a really good combination. Then so that means a Zealot's over there too. The Zealot and all those characters
I
from
don't know.
Wildcats are. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look that up.
I
See, I had
do
no
know
idea.
that Grifter's there, and I do know that Wildcats was there was a short run of Wildcats under the DC banner.
Weird. I didn't know that. Wow. But I mean, I knew that they owned the rights because that was the major reason why Image came to be. Which, by the way, there's a documentary about that if you ever want to see it. But like,
It's
I
actually
did.
really good, the documentary.
Yeah, it is. But like it's such a weird thing that Jim Lee's working over there because I'm happy because Jim Lee, I feel like if anybody is gonna do have or has been doing justice for DC a lot better
He was part
than
of the some of the best Batman runs that they've ever had, on top of other characters that he worked on.
yeah.
So I'm not really going to complain much about that. Jim Lee is arguably top 10, maybe even top 5 all time.
So basically, guys, if you want to run a comic book company, have your name end in Lee. Anyway,
Stan Lee,
Stan Lee, Jim
Jim
Lee.
Lee, Gimli,
Oh, my middle name is Lee, Chris Lee. That might ring a
Chumley. Oh,
bell.
I don't have anything else. Do you have anything?
Uh, go to shopputty.com. There you go.
Okay, go to shopputty.com. All right, thanks
Actually,
for
I have some
watching.
great
Oh,
shirts
go,
there. Go check them out. Yeah.
go, yeah, go look.
Well, I added three new shirts. They're all funny.
Tell them
One
what they say,
says
Steve.
one says chivalry is dead, be an asshole instead. So go and enjoy that one. That's a great line that someone gave me
That's a
to
rhyme.
make it into a shirt. Yeah, it's a nice rhyme, isn't it? And one's called someone decided to make one for ladies that are diabetic, and it's a very unfortunate diabetic lady. So go enjoy if you're a diabetic lady. So
You're weird. Okay, thank you. Peace out. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Everyone stay. Everybody stay. Okay, bye.